And welcome back to Amy Stadium here in Melbourne for the second qualifying final, the opening one, of course, taken out by Canterbury last night over Manly. But the rain is falling here. It's blowing sideways across the ground, driven by some very high winds. In fact, this wind is probably fairly common to the eastern seaboard of Australia. And Melbourne, obviously no exception, as Rugby League's most decorated club, are on their way out. They haven't been to the final since 2007, the Red and Greens. The last time they made top four was minor premiers in '89. The last time they won the comp was in '71. And I tell you what, there's a healthy contingent of South Sydney supporters here. Greg Inglis, of course, regarded by many as the best in the game. Crocker, King and the coach all know as much about Melbourne as Melbourne know about themselves. Greg has played 117 for Melbourne. There's Nathan Merritt. Can you believe he's playing game 199 tonight? The club's leading try scorer ever since 2006, but he's never played in the finals. So Melbourne, whatever the thoughts may be out there, however much they were paid to win those grand finals, it's hard to forget the class of the team and the teams that they did assemble. The record books will show they only won one. Of course, Melbourne and their supporters will tell you they won more. The memories are lasting, they're unforgettable, as Cameron Smith takes them out onto their own backyard, where they will start raging hot favourites to win. But across Australia, I think everyone has that little soft spot for the pride of the league, South Sydney, the club from Redfern that has won more competitions than any other. Melbourne have won 11 of their past 12 against South, and never have they beaten Melbourne in Melbourne, South Sydney. That's quite an incredible stat. And against all comers, they've won 9 from 9 this year when Slater, Cronk and Smith have played here at Amy. Again, there are some records here to be broken, and if Joey Johns is right, South Sydney are specials to do it.
Well, the only victory South Sydney have had over Melbourne in their last 12 was back in 2010, and that was over in Perth. But a great opportunity for them tonight.
And it was raining.
We can't go. We can't go. There's
So
stuff
I
on
guess
the field.
a reasonably typical Melbourne evening. The lights are on. Up in Townsville, they'll go out for somebody tonight, though. Dylan Farrell will start. Red and Green of South Sydney will run left-right. Live and exclusive on 9. Rugby League right through until the close of play at Dairy Farmers tonight. Farrell starts. Pete's got dangerously close to getting offside from the kickoff. And Brian Norrie brings the ball back for the first play of the night. 15 out then from down at the southern end, and this is Bromwich, who hasn't missed a game all year, who played the ball in the middle of the ground with his own 20-metre line on a greasy surface. And Hinchcliffe, he will now play the ball. Another of the New South Wales country players in the Melbourne side. Brian Norrie, one of them. Here's Ryan Hoffman with a run that takes him up towards the 40-metre line. Nobody was more energetic in the warm-up than Hoffman. He was going around the troops, geeing them up. Smith with his first run of the night. Slater goes right side. Cronk goes to the boot. And the ball goes sailing down into the deep to be marked by Merritt. Merritt comes back at speed, and he's put down on the 40-metre line down at the northern end of the ground for Matt King, another of these former Stormers, playing the ball on his 40-metre line. Greg Inglis was a dummy half, and Asatasi goes up and he's hit hard by Hinchcliffe, who puts him down. And then they come to halfway, and Prince gives it to Taylor, and Taylor shovels them down the ground, and Greg Inglis was with him.
And that's a run you'll see plenty of from Dave Taylor, coming back on the inside as Crocker takes a 32 out on the last.
Hinchcliffe again over the top. He's putting in some strong tackles, Hinchcliffe. And that's played out by Melbourne, and it's gone into touch. So that will be, I would imagine, a South Sydney feed.
Yeah, played up.
Referees are Shane Hayne and Jason Robinson. Souths have got the feed here. They get the first chance. 35 metres out. Reynolds was the kicker. Widop was the man that played on it with those pink boots on tonight. So the first scrum of the game. 35 metres out from Melbourne's line. Packing here towards the western side of the ground at Amy.
Just had to wait to get the centre into the second row so that this man, Pettybourne, could go to 5'8", right?
Pettybourne then. Down for West Tigers. And he'll play the ball. 28 metres out and away from Reynolds. The number 7 for South, who's been absolutely a revelation. And now from Farrell, it's gone on to Reynolds and back to Burgess, and Burgess cocks the arm as he tries to push Cameron Smith away. They're just 15 out from the line, the Rabbitohs, and Sutton goes behind a decoy runner. King has got the ball, but he's got Wonga with him. Caesar Wonga puts him down just outside 10. Sutton then to the line. Crocker's got the ball. Hoffman wedging the ball against his midriff. And the last tackle coming up there for South Sydney to the 7. And now it's gone to Taylor. Taylor puts a little kick up. Came down to South. Taylor's
not
blowing up for some reason. I think he thought it might have been touched somewhere, but that's turnover. And Melbourne 9 metres out from their own line.
Yeah, as soon as he kicked that ball, Dave Taylor, he turned around to the pocket referee and started waving his hand above his head. He said that was touched by Melbourne, but the referees wanted nothing of it. And the Storm go about their work.
Brian Norrie there, playing it just outside the 20-metre line, and this is Jesse Bromwich to the 30-metre line. Hoffman, Hinchcliffe and Bromwich have played all 24 games for Melbourne this year. Here's Proctor, and he's 5 metres short of halfway. Play over towards the eastern side of the ground now, and here's Hinchcliffe, who, as I said, he started off vigorously in defence. He peeled off a couple of very strong tackles, one on Michael Crocker. And now it's Cooper Cronk who kicks, and it is allowed to bounce by Everingham. Reynolds went back to help, and just as well he did. And now they try to drag Reynolds into touch. The number 7 stays just inside the western touchline. And Farrell is tackled out on the 30-metre line now. Hoffman a little bit dazed as he gets up.
Yeah, more than a little bit. Stumbling back in the line now. He's gone down, and Inglis has gone straight to him, or towards him, as Widdop makes the tackle.
Hoffman is all over the place on very rubbery legs at the moment, as Burgess takes play a couple of metres into Melbourne's half. They come right side, which is the short side, and Reynolds puts a kick in. It's gone down, bouncing towards the uprights, in amongst the red and green balloons. And here is Wonga bringing it back out. And you played the ball 25 away from his own line.
That was quite interesting there from Hoffman, because he was knocked out. He was on his feet, he was stumbling and falling, but he was prepared to chase anything that looked like red and green.
So Slater to Norrie now. Here's Hoffman. He's out where he would normally be in attack, and seemingly he's recovered. He's chasing down this kick taken by Greg Inglis, and Greg will play the ball back on his 40-metre line.
And it was a kick from Cameron Smith looking for a 40-20 out of dummy half. He just didn't strike it the way that he wanted to. The winger was still up, so there was space to kick to. And speaking of wingers, this is Merritt out of dummy half making good metres.
John Sutton it was that played the ball, and Nathan Merritt it is. Makes a gain of about 10 metres. Reynolds is shallow and goes back to Taylor. And Taylor will play the ball 25 metres out from the Melbourne line. So as far as territory's concerned, it's all been South Sydney's. As it goes away from Peets onto Sutton. He cuts one out, goes to Inglis, got a ball, then to Pettybourne, picked up by Slater. Here he comes in broken field play. Slater's away. Reynolds is after him, herds him back towards Farrell. In comes Everingham, gets the ball away to Nielsen. There's looming up on the outside for Newup. He's got the ball, the 21 for Newup, and he's on his way, this young homegrown Melbourne junior. And he's over the line. Has he scored?
I cannot believe that. Wow!
Well, it was from a mistake from South Sydney. Greg Inglis opting to go short on his outside, and Billy Slater was there to pick up the bouncing ball. Let's have a look at the replay here. They've done a great job to get back, Farrell and Everingham. We've come straight back. Held up's the call.
So Melbourne 9 metres away He's gone to the middle of the ground and found Brian Norrie, who played the ball. Well, Mahi Whanua almost into score. He still might be. Hoffman will score. He'll beat into the post. Hoffman scores for Melbourne. Referee wants to go upstairs.
Have a look at the grounding. I'm not sure whether he grounded it first and then rolled over, mate.
So Shane Hayne is not absolutely sure.
And Hoffman, who was in all sorts of trouble only moments ago, appears to have gotten the first try. It came from the break from Slater, who linked up on this side. There's the number 12, who was with Melbourne, went to the English Super League, back in the Storm colours. Definitely gets the first points after they went oh so close a minute ago.
A 4-0 to Melbourne, scored by Ryan Hoffman, quite unbelievably, really. He was knocked out, he got up, he scrambled back to a neutral corner, and now he scores a try within 5 minutes of being knocked out. Well, if you had have asked anybody here at the stadium, including the most ardent Melbourne supporters, they would have said whoever's going to score for Melbourne, if they're going to score, it won't be Ryan Hoffman, because he was absolutely in fantasy land about 5 minutes ago, and he's come out. I told you he was the most energetic Storm player in the warm-up, and he's been able to score. It's an incredible recovery, Peter.
Well, he didn't know if he was in Manchester or Melbourne, but it was an easy try when you consider that South Sydney had the opportunity to get set after the Melbourne play was held up.
Very interesting comment. Manchester and Melbourne today, you'd almost swear blind they're the same cities, wouldn't you, with this sort of weather pattern? But here's Cameron Smith with the attempted conversion from 10 in. 21 out. Hoffman has scored, and Smith has got the kick through the big ones. So 6-0 is the score. Melbourne over the South Sydney Rabbitohs.
Well, there's that man Hoffman. Here he was a while ago. He goes up and he comes in and gets the hip of his teammate right on top of his head, and he's all over the place. He's up, he's down, he's trying to tackle someone. He didn't know what he... And then all of a sudden Slater from the backfield heads off. Now, I thought he might have had the pace there, but he decided to come back across field and line up with Nielsen. Nielsen looked like he was about to out-sprint them. A beautiful left-hand pass back on the inside, and Whanua looked like he would score, but South Sydney scrambled back great to hold him up, only to concede a soft one to Hoffman a couple of tackles later. Great passage of play.
Played by Bromwich, and now it's Wonga. Middle of the ground, 25 away from the Melbourne line. Now Brian Norrie, and he's got a penalty for his club.
You're offside.
Offside against Michael Crocker is the call. And so Melbourne will find the line, probably around about the 40-metre line down south end of the ground.
And all of that passage of play came from Greg Inglis looking to go to Pettybourne short on his outside, where there did look to be a bit of space for his centre and winger. But Slater, as always, is the right man in the right place, and now all the momentum with the home team. The try scorer taking it inside the 40.
Hoffman again taken solidly, and he might have picked up a knee accidentally from David Taylor. Here's Clark going across to pick up Bromwich. Bromwich is 25 metres away, and Souths are calling on reinforcements on their left side as Cronk tries to break through. He's held 10 metres out from the line. Play back for Smith to go to Bromwich. Bromwich goes to the forward line, 7 metres away from the line. Held there by the captain, Crocker, and it's played, and Smith loses his footing. He had something planned.
He was going to kick the ball, Ray, for the chasers.
And a penalty then.
Slow one there, and again.
A penalty then from Hayne against the defenders. Too slow to get away.
Yeah, and they'll kick for goal here to extend the lead to 8. They're just sitting back and waiting, the Rabbitohs. They're just allowing the Storm to roll through their plays very comfortably.
I thought he tripped over him. Wasn't
And
sure.
their only solution is to try and hold down in the play of the ball just to stop the tide. But Storm right into their rhythm straight away, going about their plays comfortably.
And I do think that Smith was shaping to kick the football. The chasers on the outside were streaming through, but he actually made contact with the South Sydney player still lying on the ground.
So 12 metres out then for the captain. Here's what Peter's talking about. Smith takes off, ready to kick. And
Asatasi was on the ground.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't really matter. He's entitled to have a grab at him unless he was in an offside position, but I think he's been deemed to have tripped over Asatasi. That's what Shane Haynes said to him.
It might have been Pettyboy, Ray. Might have the wrong man. They were strapping on the leg, and I can't see any on Roy.
So here's Smith from right in front, and then Melbourne go out to lead 8 points to 0 in the second qualifying final. A try to Hoffman, 2 goals to the captain, Cameron Smith. 8-0 in the early part of the game. Craig Bellamy
Stay behind.
still at the helm, up against Michael Maguire, who did an apprenticeship of about 6 years under him. The kick-off is deep, a little bit adventurous, and Brian Murray bringing the ball back. His hit-up ends about 12 metres out from his own line. They go back to Wanda, and Wanda was met by Peets and Crocker. They started well south. They had all the ball, they had all the territory, they were playing with confidence. And then, of course, a little error, a little hiccup, and that man Slater from the back. They've gone something like 80 metres, Melbourne, to eventually score after one attempted try had been refused to Fanua, but it was scored eventually by Hoffman seconds later. Norrie then playing the ball just outside the 40 metre, not Norrie. In fact, yes, it was Brian Norrie who played it, and now it's gone reefing down the ground, and it's come off the boots there of Everingham, who comes back quickly, gets out into safer territory, and there Proctor wraps him up and puts him away together with Hinchcliffe. Play back for Crocker. Inglis comes in, takes a run, running towards the edge of the forward defensive line, and it was Norrie again making the tackle. Crocker taking that up through the middle where the artillery is heavy.
And we know Melbourne are great front runners as Nathan Merritt takes the ball forward. They give you nothing, and that's why at their end of the field, in your good attacking zone, you've got to get it right. Dave Taylor getting the football in the last tackle early in the game wasn't the right play. A mistake when they went to the left. And you just got to get that right as Reynolds on the last kicks it deep and finds open territory.
And it stopped nicely for him. Back in the in goal. Slater there. Coming away diagonally from down in the southwestern corner where he's taken by Peets. Now the ball has gone away to Fanua. I mentioned he's a Melbourne junior. He's the first of his kind. He actually came through the Melbourne junior system. Played out of Dandenong with the Titans. He's the first to do it through the junior ranks down here. Here's Hoffman down the middle to the 40-metre line. Then to Cronk, and Cronk puts his kick down towards the 10-metre line. It'll go down. It might go to the dead ball line. It does. But again, Melbourne have got South Sydney where they want them, down at their own end of the park.
I was watching Cooper Cronk warm up before the game. He must have kicked 100 kicks before kickoff.
Yours now.
High ones, low ones, long ones, floppy ones, short ones, grubber ones. Every kick you could imagine, Cooper Cronk was practicing.
Crocker out to the 40-metre line then. 59% of the time Melbourne have had the football in the match so far. Completions, Melbourne 8 from 8. Rabbitohs 4 from 5. And here are the Rabbitohs now with John Sutton trying to step free of a tackle. Pulled down eventually by Proctor. Now going back to Burgess, who looked over his shoulders looking for Greg Inglis, but Inglis was lagging a little bit behind, and Peets it is who goes into the hands of Reynolds, who kicks high, and the chase is on. Fanua comes out of his corner and goes high above the pack. And so Fanua will play the ball now, inside that 10-metre line. Down at his own end of the ground. Now Woodop. So capable he is. Here's a penalty again going to Melbourne. What's the penalties running? That's the third penalty to Melbourne. South's yet to get a penalty.
Well, and surely that should have been on the the Rabbitoh tip sheet. You just don't give penalties to Melbourne Storm when they're coming out of trouble. That's your chance to get some advantage, because Melbourne aren't that adventurous at their own end of the field. You don't really need to concede penalties and hold them down too long.
Wait here till he kicks.
They're not dangerous from there.
Taken to ground by Peets in the main. Here's Norrie running at Peets and Crocker. And the 15 is Luke Burgess, who's out there for Sass now.
He went on for Asatasi, the first interchange.
Halfway line is on your camera with Ryan Hoffman playing the ball. Cronk, inside ball. And it's with Bromwich again. And look at that. He's strong through the thighs. He's intensive. Keen to make ground. Plays it back for Smith to go to Cronk, who dummies back on the inside. And Billy Slater was looming up. Slater now dummy half, and Smith at first receiver. He's going to put it down into the corner, high, and they're going to put Everingham under pressure. And Everingham comes down safely with the ball, but he's been tackled in mid-air.
While he's up in the air.
And while he's up in the air, you can't do that. As you heard from Shane Haynes, so South get their first penalty of the night.
That set of 6 from Melbourne Storm was just a hit up, a hit up, a hit up. Cooper Cronk ran across field, turned someone back in. Then on tackle 4, they had a little dab, the 3 playmakers, to have a look around the middle of the ruck. It didn't come off. Then they kick it on tackle 5. Now that's the Melbourne Storm right there. That's their game. They don't do much, and they do it well.
Burgess picked up and flung to the ground almost in a cartwheel. Peets for Burgess. The other Burgess now, Sam. And he'll play the ball just outside the 40-metre line, getting played down the middle corridor. Crocker has been busy. The captain is trying to generate his team. They just seemed to sink a little bit after that mistake, and then the try went to Melbourne. One was thinking, I was thinking there in those initial stages, gee, they're playing confidently, but they had everything flowing their way, and then all of a sudden 4 points, 6 points, 8 points against them. And then Melbourne has just been dictating to them when they want to give them the football. Here's a kick down the ground. Now there's a bit of a scuffle in back play, but the referee has seen it and told Fanua to play on. So Fanua taps the ball and he goes up the middle and he's pulled down 35 metres out.
You reckon he tapped it? You can't run that fast and tap it without falling over, surely.
Wonga's with the ball. I don't know. We might have a chance for a replay, but I don't know that it's going to prove anything. We're not going to go back and change it.
I don't know how they do this. They race up at 100 mile an hour. Let's have a look. Got him on the shin.
Well, that's a kick. If you read the rule book, anything below the knee is a kick. Cronk will play the ball now. And here is Smith using his blind side. And Slater cuts them out. He goes to Fanua. He puts the ball on the toe, quite miraculously, really. Inglis comes away with it, runs away, fends away, runs further, and Proctor puts him down.
Well, he saved the day again there, Greg Inglis. And South Sydney again letting Melbourne out of their own end too easily. Kicking the ball too far. Easy diffusion of the bomb, 20-metre restart. And at the end of that, Melbourne again looked dangerous.
Luke Burgess. But again, Melbourne dictating to South Sydney when and if we want to give you the football. We are in total command. We'll give you the football. Of course we'll give you the football. We've only got it for 6. But you'll find that you've got your backs to the wall when we give it to you. The kick down the ground, fielded by Slater urgently. And Slater throws a long ball across the ground. Wonga!
He was just mucking about. He was just toying with us.
Well, we were down there before kick-off and it was drizzling rain. I can tell you this field is slippery. So that's a really high-risk play, and Cesar gives it a little bit of a juggle before he gathers it in.
And now another penalty as Michael Crocker takes on half the Melbourne side.
Ryan, back away, Ryan. Thanks, Dave. Back away. So, high tackle.
Well, Mr. Crocker might have been watching the Manly Sea Eagles last night.
Got here, boys.
Figured one way to fire your team up is start a little bit of a melee. And there it is, another lazy tackle and cheap penalty coming out of trouble.
Nathan Peets was the first offender, then Crocker
For Crocker.
with the facial down on the ground. I think the initial penalty, though, was against Nathan Peets, was it not?
It was, and the bottom line again, Melbourne, an easy out. You can't compete with the Melbourne Storm in this fashion.
It's like you put them in the lockup and then you give them the keys and let them out. They let themselves out when they want to be let out. This is Jamin Lowe, who played probably 50-odd games for Souths. That is Fayoso, one of our rugby league journeymen. He's a good player, he's a good kid. Here's Cronk going behind, and then Slater gets it away. Wonga down the ground, back on the inside, O'Neill, but it's gone forward.
Yeah, the pass infield from Wonga. The pass infield from Wonga was a one-hander, I think, and just floated forward to Justin O'Neill.
Yeah, he had to turn and come up with a decent tackle here. Nathan Merritt. Wonga's on his outside. Merritt dives low, and that forced the pass to be thrown back on the inside. And yep, Gus, you're right. It was the one-hand one. Much tougher to control.
Gave me a little chance to read the advertising signage flicking on and off on the far side of the ground. The Indigenous game, the All-Stars game. February 9 next year at Suncorp.
It's gone to Brisbane.
Gone to Brisbane, eh? You changed a few things while I was gone. And don't forget, immediately following this game, the first elimination final. Cowboys and Broncos. The second tomorrow is our telecast game at 4 o'clock. Cronulla and Canberra, but at Dairy Farmers shortly, you'll see the Cowboys, the little brother, taking on the big brother, the Broncos. That's 3:30 tomorrow, by the way. I should have made the point. We'll be on air at 3:30. Our special guest will be Mal Meninga.
And on the Sunday Footy Show, Terry Campuzzi, the club skipper from the Canberra Raiders, will join us as well.
Well, you might as well have Julia Gillard as well. Put the whole lot in there. Here is South Sydney now, with Burgess bringing it out to the 20-metre line. What are you smiling at?
How'd you get from Campuzzi to Gillard?
Well, Meninga's a famous raider. Campuzzi's a famous raider, and she's the queen of the Capital Territory, Pethbury.
And we send our condolences to the Prime Minister, whose father passed away.
Played then by Pethbury. And now it's with Luke. And he bounces out of the tackle. Thought about running, but then I guess I tend to think he thought, well, no, I better play this ball. I was tackled, and here's Slater.
I don't know whether the Rabbitohs came here with a conservative mindset, or they're just, I don't know what it is, but they haven't put a play on. They haven't given us anything of great excitement. They haven't been too adventurous at all. They just look a little shell-shocked at the moment. And now another penalty.
He's going to give a penalty here.
And marks 10 metres.
We're back-chatted. We're back-chatted. No, he kicked the ball away. He's kicked the ball away, which that's why Shane Hayne has marched them.
Well, this is suicide. Absolute suicide. What's that? 5 penalties now. 4 of them to the Melbourne Storm. Coming out of trouble.
Cameron, just there, mate. Let's go, mate. Come on.
And South look tired. Some of them are really breathing heavy and shaking their heads. They just can't get it together at the moment.
And the coach looks frustrated, and in 17 minutes' time will be particularly animated, do you think, as Hoffman takes the restart centre field, driven sideways by Peets and Burgess.
Cameron Smith sharing it and then giving it to Cronk, and here's Fayoso coming at 100 miles an hour up the middle. He'll play the ball just outside the 20-metre line. Here comes Melbourne again. And this time it's Woodard who goes to the line. Then Hoffman round the line, round the back for Slater. And Slater, there's going to be an inquiry on this one.
Tackle 3, please, mate. Just see whether he puts the ball on the line here.
And they are normally a pretty good indication of what has happened. He appeared to have come up with a try saver, did Andrew Everingham. I think the last movement may have got Billy Slater over here after Ryan Hoffman again did the damage. Well, Billy doesn't look that confident.
Yeah. I don't know about the crowd at the other end, Peter, because they liked the first one. Oh, there it is, right on the line. Right on the line.
And then it gets pushed back by the South Sydney player coming in late.
And some sort of inquiry as to whether or not he actually drops this onto the line, if he's got control on it before it drops it. I don't think it's double movement. I think he's sliding towards the line okay. It's all momentum. But it's how the ball flops on the line. It sort of just falls there. He's got to go back to the other vision. Here it is. Does that fall on the ground?
I don't think it touches the ground. I think it falls off his chest and he picks it up on the arm.
Well, what they're saying, did that drop on the ground there, Rabbits?
Well, that's his hand or arm with the tape on it, the strapping on it.
It's under this. See, what's this? That's his arm underneath. That just flops on the line. He doesn't plant that on the line. It falls on the line. It falls out of his arm onto the line. I couldn't give that. I couldn't give that. Here's normal speed, full speed. Oh,
Look better there.
Looked better there, but I think it fell out of his arm onto the line, personally.
Well, there's the result. It's a benefit of the doubt try. Melbourne further in front. Well, there he is, one of the game's most prolific try scorers, and still rated by many as the best player in the game. And that's what we've got here tonight. We've got a couple of players right up there at the top of the table. Who is the best player in the game at the moment? And then there's Canterbury supporters probably saying, hang on a moment, what about Ben Barber?
Well, the left edge, the attack of Melbourne's left edge, causing all sorts of problems. The reason I mentioned Manchester when it came to Ryan Hoffman is he went to play with Wigan after leaving Melbourne. Successful stint over there, and his strong running on this side of the field was causing South Sydney all sorts of concern.
Smith then from 21 out and about 12 in, the same place as before. And he's successful with the kick. Andrew Johns on the sideline.
Yeah, take a look at this man on screen, Billy Slater. Watch the movement here when Ryan Hoffman gets the ball. Wait till Ryan Hoffman gets the ball. Watch the movement from Slater at the back in the Quino replay in those yellow boots. Look at him accelerate through to put himself in a situation to get there before a South Sydney player. Great instincts. Watch Hoffman here. Hoffman gets his space. And watch Slater at the back. Watch him accelerate and get in between those defenders. That's why he's one of the world's best.
So Lowe brings the ball back for Melbourne. And the scoreboard getting out to an alarming state. 14-0 in favour of Melbourne. Hoffman at the 7th minute, Slater at the 24th. But they are really dictating the turn. Fayosha's been strong. There's another run from him. And it's a South Sydney side that's struggling to stay with them at the moment. This is Smith. Cameron to play the ball 5 or 6 metres on his own side of halfway. It's away to Cronk and he goes behind Hoffman. Goes to Widdop, goes to Nielsen. Nielsen will play the ball down on the 30-metre line. Now they're back in South Sydney's territory, and this is the last. So Cronk, he puts the kick in. Taylor barrels in, all in the one motion. Taken then by Merritt, and he's grasped in goal. So there they are. They give you back the football. Then they put you back in the in goal, and there's a little bit of a discussion going on the tackle from Taylor on Cronk back here.
Well, he's lucky he wrapped his arms around there to some degree, David Taylor, otherwise he would have been penalised. Cronk certainly took offence.
Stay behind, boys!
Well, it's like a training gallop for the Melbourne Storm. They're under no stress whatsoever. South Sydney have gifted them a lot of easy yardage with penalties. South Sydney are sitting back in defence and allowing Melbourne to roll through their plays. Here they come again, the purple people leaders.
Low. And then Cronk turning it around the corner and back on the inside for Proctor. 15 away, you can see on the high shot there. They're running down into that Northeastern corner, here they come with some set play, sweeping around the back, Slater to Nielsen. And there's a South Sydney player injured, I think it's Everingham.
Yeah, he went in very solidly with the shoulder.
Slater's not well as well. So Everingham and Slater, I fancy, have come together in a collision.
That's the centre down as well, Dane Nielsen.
They move so quick and they collide so hard. You know, it's any wonder players are down injured and hurt. Beautiful play there by the Melbourne Storm. Took it to the right-hand half of the field, then came back with a sweeping play. Decoy runners. Watch this. Holds them up in the middle there with some decoy runners out the back. Another decoy runner out the back. Now it's 3-on-2. South Sydney scrambling well from the inside. Taylor over the top saves the try. But it's all crash, bang, wallop when it gets to the end. Yeah. Everyone's hitting and bumping and bruising.
Well, that's the left shoulder. That's a problem for Andrew Everingham. He went in very, very hard and knew straight away that wasn't quite right. All the players to their feet now. That's a great sign. Everingham walking over to his wing. Nearly lost the ball there in the impacted Nielsen. And Dave Taylor, he lands on top.
All the way up. Keep going. Wait till the whistle. It's tackle
He's well above his weight, wasn't he?
Wait on
Dane
it.
Nielsen. So Melbourne sweeping it across the ground over to the middle, and then Cronk goes back on the inside to this fellow who looks like he's trying to really leave a mark on the game. Fayoso, the ball rolling in off the boot there of Smith, and it's been put dead by South.
Now that was the play we saw earlier where Cameron Smith fell over when he tried to get the grubber kick in. Cooper Cronk makes a run from the left-hand side of the play, the ball back to the right. Smith ignores him, heads off to the left. And they all know the kick is coming. You watch Cooper Cronk, goes from left to right there, little dummy, come to the line. Look at them all on the outside coming through. They all know what's on. And that forces the line drop out again.
Stay inside, Chris. Stay back.
The water torture continues.
The English with this dropout, they're not big. They're not big by today's standards, and Lowe will play the ball on the first on this set. 30 metres out from the line. And here's Hinchcliffe taking it up to the 20-metre line. So on the second tackle, they've got play on the 20-metre line on a repeat set. And you know that means danger. Smith will play the ball 9 metres out. Widdop sweeps it away. Cronk goes short into Proctor. And Proctor is held there by John Sutton together with Pettybourne. But Melbourne brewing, they go to Cronk, and he goes to O'Neill, and O'Neill is held up by South Sydney. 5 gone. So Melbourne sweep it deep. Cronk to put this little dab on it, and coming up and taking it is Farrell. So Dylan Farrell snuffs them out on this occasion. Everingham runs it back. Fayoso hits him hard.
A couple of quick play the balls help here with Burgess up the middle. We've got a long way to go in this game. But I think South Sydney have been conservative the last couple of weeks, concentrating on completion rates. The scoreline is going to dictate that they are going to have to be a little bit more adventurous. And I think that can make them more dangerous as Clark takes it over halfway. They must be the next to score.
And Isaac Luke is on. John Sutton then with a left foot kick down in behind Wonga. And it might go dead. Wonga can't lie. Couldn't wait any longer. And they're going to grass him in goal. So South finally have got the pendulum swinging their way.
That's their best play of the night so far, right? And they've kept the pressure on now, fielding the restart from under the posts, and they've got to camp down here.
Well, they've got a chance now. Now, during the year, I thought the Melbourne Storm have been very vulnerable out on the edges. The centre wing combinations can make poor decisions. So it'll be interesting to see from set play situation here what South Sydney come up with. I think the centre wing combinations here are vulnerable to the good plays.
This is Clark. Upended on the 30-metre line. Fayoso, the main tackler. Luke gives it away to another Luke, this time Burgess. And he'll play the ball in the middle of the ground, 20 metres out to the right side for Reynolds. He sweeps it inside for McQueen. Another of the bench players on. And the clean is held again by Fayoso, who hangs on to the ball, slows it down. Luke goes away, Sutton goes back, Inglis goes out, Merritt's with the ball, and Merritt is taken by O'Neill and Proctor. Just outside the 10-metre line, over on the eastern side of the ground. And Pettyborn brings it back 12 metres out. So 5 gone for South. They'll look for Reynolds. Here he is, the 7. And there goes the kick. And Farrell can jump. And it's come down, but it's come down to Widdop. Widdop from Melbourne to play the ball. And here is Fanua, who's done absolutely nothing wrong in this performance tonight.
It was a pretty average set of 6 from South Sydney, wasn't it? I mean, there was only the one real play in the whole set of 6. The rest of it was just trundling up over the advantage line and being easy prey for the Storm defence.
They've had 18 uses of the football, Melbourne. Souths have had 12. And they've both completed. Oh, Cronk doesn't have. Hey, make a note of that. You've seen something that you won't see for a long time. Cronk has put it down.
Yeah, they were 17 from 18. They're now 17 from 19.
Well, you won't see that again until 2017.
King. Played by Matt King. Here's Sam Burgess. One of these superstars has got to do something. Here's Pettyborn. I don't know what you do to stop Melbourne when they get in this confident mood, in this dictatorial mood that they are in. Here's Sutton going neatly, and Inglis put the fend on. Inglis steps inside the 10. Then they put some defence around him. Merritt to Sutton. Clark wanted the kick. It's gone to Reynolds. He obliges, and out there it's been marked in goal by Fanua.
He's on the way, Robbo.
Back to the 20.
In the middle.
Well, it wasn't such a bad idea. Fanua's very versatile there. He did that one on his left foot. Last time he ran up for a quick tip, he did it right-footed.
He's gone.
That time he did it left-footed. Wasn't a bad idea from Reynolds, just poorly executed. There was space out there.
Here's Hinchcliffe. And a roving commission across towards the halfway line. And up the middle goes the Captain Smith. Play the ball on the 30-metre line. Back to Wonga. It goes to Cronk. And then he stabs it in, and Merritt knocks on for South. Or does he? Yeah, he knocks on for South.
We'll put that in the same category as Cooper Cronk. You won't see that again for a long, long time. But some bad signs here as we come up to half-time. Melbourne making a lot of metres from dummy half. Hinchcliffe followed up by Cameron Smith. And whilst that wasn't the best kick from Cooper Cronk, it got a result. This is a big set in defence 5 minutes out from the break for the visitors.
Well, I don't think they can hold them. I don't think they can hold them out. The Storm from here with their tails up and South Sydney in the mood there. I don't know if they can hold them out.
Thank you. Heads down, locked down. Ball in, stay next to it.
Jason Robinson maybe with the wrong choice of words, heads down, that's where they are. Here's Slater getting it to Widdop off his right foot, and Fanua's gone in. Fanua scores a final strike.
Well, it's great footwork from Gareth Widdop. And we've known this English 5'8" is tremendous on his feet. And we go back to the mistake, giving Melbourne good field position, and it didn't take long for them to break. But we were leading up to this from the previous couple of plays. Scrum win, decoy man, and the footwork here turns a 2-on-2 into a 2-on-1, and the young winger crosses in the western corner.
Not building the mould of the classic rugby league winger, I suppose. He's more chunky, a little bit like Matt Utai in many ways. But he's very, very fast, and he's so enthusiastic. And there is the try scorer. As I said before, and it bears repeat because this is the first product of Melbourne junior football, born, bred, and brought through the junior system in Melbourne to play at the top level for Nua.
Good stuff there from Dane Nielsen as well. Experienced centre playing on his inside, just having a word from his way back, congratulating him, but keeping his mind on the job. Don't get carried away with it. Don't get too excited. It was good stuff, but we've got a long way to go.
I guess that's his first try in the top grade, is it, for Nua? He's played a couple, apparently, before tonight, but that's his first try. He almost had one earlier tonight, as you saw. Smith from the touchline, 21 out. And we're going to the break very, very shortly. 3.5 minutes, I think, on the clock. Here's the kick from Cameron. It's high, and he hits the paintwork. Andrew Johns on the sideline. What are they going to do?
Well, I don't know. Go to half time and get a throw off the coach. Have a look at this, the speed of Slater. Get across defenders, the interest of those defenders, and the speed of Whittam. That's what will set up that try, the way they created that overlap. But firstly, watch Slater here. Watch him skip across, interest number 4, and then the in and away here by Whittam. That creates the overlap on the Kuno replay.
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I don't understand what Adam Reynolds is doing defending that outside centre from a scrum win, putting him up against Gareth Whittam. It's almost like they're playing for the next play, but when the horse has already bolted, it's too late.
Bromwich playing on the 20-metre line, and with Hoffman. Great performance by Ryan Hoffman. Sensational, really. If you haven't been watching, he got knocked out, poleaxed, really.
Been a great performance from Melbourne, Ray, but it's what we've come to expect. So professional in the way they go about. Here's Cronk. He's the leading 40-20 kicker this season. Happy to put it down the centre of the field. The chase is great. Inglis isolated.
And Greg Inglis coming out of his in-goal again. He's either coming out of corners or coming out of his in-goal or trying to ruck it out as a forward. It's not the... there's a penalty going to South. That's their second penalty of the game. 5-2 the penalty count, plus there was a mark. When I say that, there was an advancement of the mark. That's not a penalty. So 5-2 the penalty count officially, but they got marched another 10. South Sydney, I mean. Sam Burgess taking it strong just into Melbourne's area. Just over a minute to go. And that's brother Luke. 33 metres away. Ball played to Luke, to Isaac Luke, and then to Clark. And he'll play it on the 30-metre line. The high shot shows you he's 20 metres in from the touchline. Reynolds double pumps, and Sutton does the same. And Inglis comes in where he's most dangerous. And now King is tackled 10 metres out from the line. Spun away by Merrick. Here is Sutton asking a question, and Pettybourne goes down. 3 Melbourne defenders involved. Luke lets some runners go. Gets it to Clark. Clark gets it to Reynolds. Reynolds puts a kick in. Mistake by Melbourne. Cleaned up by Melbourne, though. One of them making a mistake, the other one there to clean it up.
And that's no fluke. I watched a lot of that in the warm-up. And when Cronk was kicking bombs and grubber kicks across field, it was quite ironic that the Melbourne Storm players go through their routine of protecting each other if one's dismissed. And the fact that Slater was there was no fluke. They practice it. They're there just in case. Great performance by the Storm. Great first 40 minutes of finals football. The Rabbitohs totally overawed, I'm afraid. There's only way you can describe it.
So at half-time, the Storm with 3 tries. Hoffman got the first at the 7th minute. Clark is hobbling off. Slater at the 24th minute. Fanua at the 35th minute got his first try in first grade. He got it in a final. So Melbourne absolutely dictatorial. 18-0 at half-time. 3 tries against a clean slate, and the second half is underway. We'll take you to Dairy Farmers at the completion of this game, and Sam Burgess comes back and runs it very, very hard, straight up the middle. Here's his brother Luke. Greg Inglis actually was tackled by Ryan Hoffman quite accidentally, falling on top of Hoffman. Ball played then by Luke. And here it is with Clark now. And Clark, one of the smaller forwards in the game, is forced back by Bromwich and Lowe. And now Sutton kicks down into the corner for Wonga. And Wonga brings it back to be tackled 25 out from his line. I feel so sorry for these South Sydney supporters that have made the trek down here. There's a lot of them here. There's a lot of red and green around Melbourne. And of course here at the ground tonight. But I don't know that their hopes have been raised at any stage of tonight, apart from maybe the opening 5 minutes. Played by Hoffman. Smith it is, working it down the short side. Making sure they get through the set. And Lowe will play the ball 35 metres out now. 5 tackles gone. And Cronk to the right of the ground. Kicks high. Merritt taken there by O'Neill. And I would have thought it was pretty close to a line ball tackle from O'Neill on Merritt. Inglis playing it 10 metres out from his line. Pettybourne now. Crocker goes back into the game in jumper number 13, the captain. Burgess would have been deputy captain or vice captain in the absence of Crocker. Here is Burgess now, again taking it up the middle, inside the 40-metre line. And Inglis almost stabbing the kick down the ground, and Slater it is that is wrapped up and put down solidly over there on the far side of the ground. Clark is limping off with that ailment that he showed us just coming up to the break. Here's a penalty going to Melbourne.
Well, I said at half-time we'd see a different South Sydney team.
Yes, sir.
Straight in the chin here. I'm just wriggling like hell. We are getting a call here.
Mate, he's got to get off.
Both ways, you know.
It will. You guys get off the ball. That won't happen.
Well, we're not seeing a different team when it comes to penalties to Melbourne. Cameron Smith will be kicking from 38 out from his own line. Sam Burgess frustrated, but had no joy.
Burgess, I was indicating he would have been captain in the absence of Michael Crocker, but obviously Sam has still got the... He's still at the helm as Hoffman plays the ball. Showed it to Lowe, went behind Hinchcliffe, gave it to Cronk, gave it to Bromwich. Toyota Cup went to the Roosters right on the bell tonight. Roosters by 2, 24-22. And here they are. Melbourne with Lowe breaking into the backfield. 10 metres out from the line. Hinchcliffe through Slater. Cronk kicks out wide for Wonga. Wonga bats it back in, and Souths it is that makes it dead.
Why did he bat it back in? Why didn't he just catch it? I think he's nearly over the line.
No, not back from him.
When he punches this back. Well, are my eyes deceiving me? Why doesn't he just catch it?
I don't know.
He's actually over the line. Why doesn't he just catch it?
I think Craig Bellamy will ask the same questions at some
Craig,
stage.
what do you think?
Catch it. Yeah, he thinks the same.
You've got to tell him on Thursday, Craig. No good telling them Saturday. Why didn't he catch it, Rabbits?
I can't look it up. You have to ask this man with the ball. Wong. I said it about T-Rex last night. It's part of the package. Here's Hinchcliffe going hard and fast and flat. Running off a Cronk ball. Hinchcliffe plays the ball 10 metres out, and here's Lowe. And Lowe got away from Luke Burgess and run into Greg Inglis and put down. Couple of metres out from the line. And here is Smith. Players in motion. Knocked down by Everingham.
I love this play from the Melbourne Storm. They've been doing this for years and years and years. I've seen them do it in grand finals and big moments. Cameron Smith gets out and shapes the grubber kick. there it is. We've seen it a couple of times tonight. Now it comes out the back. Look at this 3-on-1. And a great play by Everingham to stop the try by getting his hand out there. Yeah, Craig, you're not happy. I know.
And you saw there Adam Reynolds was the man 2 in. He thought the kick was coming in, so he was already heading back into the in-goal area.
Boys, arms over.
And straight away there was an overlap there. It was a good effort from Everingham to get his hand in the way, because otherwise it was try time in the corner.
Here they are again then with Slater going deep to Widdop and now to Wagga. And he doesn't bat this one back. He puts it in the pasture over the try line. Melbourne score their 4th try.
In this corner. And again, the speed. Billy Slater getting on the outside of players. And South Sydney defence just not coping at all. 5/8 goes across field. The decoy goes through. He played a role as well. 2-on-1. Simple but effective.
Well, there he is. He can do some incredible things, this fella. Cesar Wonga. He can do some rather strange things too, as you saw. There's the try scorer. He basically threw one away just earlier on and almost gave his coach a nervous breakdown, but now he's gone in to score after Melbourne looked like they were going to score on the left side. They've scored on the extreme right side. He's a real athlete, Cesar Wonga, but he makes some rather strange decisions at times. Where did I see him do a Johns type thing the other night?
Yeah, they beat the Sharks in the last seconds of play. He took off from dummy half down the short side when everyone was lined out the other way. Cameron Smith pilots this straight down the middle. And if you thought you'd seen that try before from the Melbourne Storm, they did exactly the same thing just before half-time from right to left. They won a scrum on the right-hand side of the field. The ball will come away to Slater across the field. Decoy runner out the back. Widdop does a little dance, gets it to the winger. He scores in the corner. The other side of the field this time, out to Slater. Across field, out the back. Widdop does a little dance, throws it to the other winger, and he scores. Keno replay, your number's up.
And Craig's happy.
Coming on, mate.
He's happy this time.
Craig's happy. There he is.
Stay behind, South.
Dylan Farrell with the restart.
Craig Bellamy there bent down and gave Kevin Walters a tap on the shoulder. I dare say that.
Ooh, low, just took the shoulder.
I dare say the former Bronco in Queensland 5/8 might have had something to do with that set play from his scrum. It looked like something he might have come up with, and Craig Bellamy, the head coach, just gave him a pat on the shoulder. So well done, mate. 2 tries.
You think Kevy might have said, Alfie and I used to do this?
Well, I think Kevy's probably come up with that. It would be a logical call for him to be the one that comes up with those set plays off the scrum. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm reading more into it. I don't know. But I know the Bellamy gave him a pat on the shoulder.
Well, it makes a nice story. Don't try and change it now. I love these sort of stories that you come up with. And that one is probably spot on, I'd imagine. Bromwich then back away for Cronk to kick down deep for Merritt. And Merritt comes off his 10. He runs it towards Wonga. He doesn't get to Wonga. He's taken by O'Neill. I was talking about Wonga being athletic. O'Neill and Wonga, both athletically built players. They both have an abundance of speed. They just keep coming off this production line that Bellamy seems to have going for him. Regenerates players. Brian Norrie's a perfect case in point. And here is Michael Crocker with the ball now.
Well, they do have an abundance of athletic outside backs when you consider Will Chambers and Matt Duffy both on the sidelines as Slater takes the kick through on the first bounce. Tries to bump off Adam Reynolds, unable to do so.
24-0. 24-0. I must admit, I thought we'd be coming here to be looking at a much closer scoreline than this.
I really liked Melbourne all week. I thought they'd win. And then when I got here tonight, Anthony Quinn was out, Sika Manu's out, Jason Riles is out. I thought, well, you know, if South Sydney are up for it, they won't get a better chance. But they have not been in the contest, not for a minute.
Van Nielsen down to Cronk. Well, of course, Joey didn't help you. He's declared South's unbeatable specials, and you started to weaken. It happened to you. You were grabbed by the John's influence when he started declaring specials.
Yeah, he tugged me coat.
He thought he was at Broadmeadow, tipping some of his mates' horses. It's not like that. Not when you come to Amy Park. Not when you come to Amy Park up against, what do you call them, the purple people eaters. Here's Everingham. Now Luke with a dart away from dummy half. And he'll play the ball. You see the damage you've done, Johnsy. You've talked Phil out of what he wanted to do when he first walked onto the ground. Here they go back into the middle for Greg Inglis, and he's pulled down by Hoffman. Continuing to have a wonderful go. Last tackle, floating ball. Reynolds steps around Smith, and he puts a little innocuous kick down to Fanua.
I'm very surprised at how poorly South Sydney have played. I mean, it's been awful, really. Penalties and frustration and poor defence. From the time Merritt dropped that ball over in the corner, South were going to score on the Storm were going to score on the next play.
Wonga just outside the 30-metre line. You know, we talk about the big three here at Melbourne. I'm just watching this game as closely as I can tonight, and I'm thinking to myself, geez, look at this kick from Cronk. It's out on the fullback couple of metres. So at least we've found one thing with Cooper Cronk tonight. He's human. He can knock on, and he can fail to find the line. So we know that Cooper Cronk is a human being. I was going to make the point about Hoffman. He's important. He's done some incredible things tonight, and the other bloke that we don't include in that big three, and I suppose that's reasonable, is Widop.
I know Cooper Cronk has come out publicly and said that he does not like that term, the big three, because it doesn't pay due reference to the other players in the team. It's the due respect the babies earn. There's something on the inside to Dave Taylor as well read.
So Taylor then 18 metres out from the Melbourne line. Sutton takes it to the line, and they close ranks on him. And four of them involve themselves, and then they scamper away back into the defensive line, and Luke goes away to Taylor, and Taylor puts one out the back and said, well, it's about time we started just throwing it about. We might as well. We're playing catch-up. We might as well play hot potato football. Luke onto Sutton, steps right foot, stands in the tackle, unloads. Ingles puts a kick in, dived on by Proctor. With a skill that you probably don't expect from the second row, but they probably practice that drill after drill after drill. Crumb on the ground, dive on it. Seagull practice. Crumb on the ground, dive on it. Doesn't matter whether you're front row or second row. Cowboys and Broncos coming up immediately after this game, the first elimination final. Somebody's got to leave the island, or the house, I should say. Somebody's leaving the house after this game. It'll be a Cowboy or it'll be a Bronco at Dairy Farmers Stadium, and the same will happen tomorrow in Canberra. Somebody is leaving the big house. It'll be a Shark or a Raider. English back on his 10, outside his 20. And they're attacking his legs and proving the old adage to be right again. They can't run without legs no matter who they are. Fayoso it was then that gave the penalty.
And it had been a fine tackle from Rory Cost-Jason, going low on Greg Inglis and grassing him, and the number 18 jersey penalised for coming in and going on too long to sustain the tackle. A rare time at South Sydney have got a penalty at their own end, and Merritt will come up with the restart.
He had a smile on his face this morning like a split watermelon. Bill Harrigan. I think he was absolutely pumped with the performance of Klein and Cummins last night. I think he'll be equally pumped with what's happened here so far tonight. And here's a knock on. He's played at the ball, McQueen it was, and here he is, the man Slater sweeping around. And O'Neill knocks on, a touch to the opposing player, knock on Melbourne, South Sydney's feed.
Scrum here, South ball.
Just a little opportunity, a wee look for the South Sydney Rabbitohs.
Well, they've got to go a lot better, South Sydney, because fair dinkum, they're a rabble at the moment. Their last couple of sets of 6 where they've had good opportunity. I mean, they shouldn't be nervous down. They're down 24-0. So they should be able to go about their work pretty well, but they've just looked like a rabble. It's been awful.
Wait here, boys.
Can the footballer who's lost everything save his family?
Right here and wait till it's out.
Australia's new hit drama that's full of heart. House Husband. You'll like it if you haven't watched it. Sunday at 8:30 on 9. House Husband. Wonderful cast. And one of the star male actors, of course, is a former star footballer. And here is Inglis going away. It's gone through Pettybourne and found Merritt. And Merritt is tackled 10 metres out from the line.
Well, Matt King's on the sideline. He doesn't know whether he's on or off. He dropped out of that play and Sutton on the inside to Sam Burgess. He's got an arm problem as King. He's to play the ball 10 metres out.
Crocker, Sutton, Reynolds, go to McQueen. McQueen, 10 out, middle of the ground, 5 tackles gone. Luke for Sutton, the kick. There's the little kick, Merritt's after it. Wonga might have put it dead. Wonga did put it dead.
Well, that was Keystone Cop's work on the sideline here from South Sydney. Matt King did not know whether a player had gone on. Eventually, Roy Asatasi did, so the Rabbits with the football had 12 men for a while. Now, King has gone up the race with the trainer. With some kind of arm injury. It didn't look good.
Stay back, boys, stay back.
And Melbourne now. A rare line dropout. There goes King getting some attention. And Asatasi finally being interchanged.
Asatasi just inside the 30-metre line. 20 metres out now from the Melbourne line. 24-0. 3/4 of the game practically gone. As David Taylor plays the ball, walks over the top of it. And here is Luke, and he's gone back to Sutton, who'll offload. No, not this time. O'Neill came in and jammed up on him. Now it's Luke, now it's Burgess, and Burgess picked up by Cameron Smith. And Burgess to play the ball. Back to Luke, and Luke across, and then floating it away to Reynolds. Reynolds gets it to Taylor. Taylor on to Pettybourne. It's gone on to the winger. Everything tackled in the goal in a touch.
Last tackle, fellas, change over.
Good shut down by Melbourne.
Yeah, it was too. I thought the last pass was easily forward. Really went forward. But great scramble here from the Melbourne Storm. 24-0's not enough for them. Give us a look at this last pass here. It seemed very... I mean, he's way in front of him over there. That had to go forward, surely.
That's a great tackle from Gareth Widdop.
Brilliant.
Wrapped Everingham up, drove him over the sideline. And that play there will please Craig Bellamy more than anything else he's seen tonight.
And he is hard to please. Fanua. Inside the 30-metre line. Here's Brian Norrie.
It can happen to anyone. Can happen. We've seen this happen plenty of times over the years. Team gets to the finals the first time for a while, and you think they've got experienced players there that can handle it, but it just goes pear-shaped right from the opening start, and you never get into it.
Here's O'Neill running off a Cronk pass. Played the ball on the 40-metre line down south end of the ground. That's the only thing that might have turned around a little bit in the second half was the territorial advantage that Melbourne did have, and now Cronk just plugs it down into the corner. So we'll take a break on this Saturday night of finals. 24-0 in favour of Melbourne.
Stay down, South. Let's bring it up, Storm. Bring it up. Next to the scrum kick. Pull them together. Yes. Go. Yours.
Welcome back. An hour of the football match is gone. 24-0, 18-0 half-time Storm. They put another 6 on the board since then when Wonga decided he'd put the ball over the line. And I say that tongue-in-cheek because he had a chance to do it earlier and basically refused to. One of the more incredible things we've seen this year. It'll make the highlights tape, I'm sure. Oh, gee, we've got a problem here. I think it's Fayoso. Richie Fayoso went in to make a tackle on a charging Roy Asatasi, I think it was. And Richie, this is the same player. You might remember he was walking around in Disneyland at Manly one night. And it really raised the ire of the medicos. It's a head clash. Fayoso goes down. And there it is again, right on the side of the cheek, on the side of the jawbone.
He's snoring. It just got him right on the right spot on the chin.
Well, they've called for the stretch up.
Poor kid.
That night, I remember at Manly, you felt really, I felt sick on the stomach watching the kid allowed to continue as long as he did, to be honest with you.
I think from memory,
King with a little bit of attention. Sorry, Pete.
I was going to say there were plenty of that on that day for Newcastle, but we'll take a quick break now. At the hour mark, 24-0 Storm.
It's exactly who I'm talking about, Faraz Durrani. Yeah. Who did he play? Ibrahim or Ibrahim, isn't it? Did he play Ibrahim? Yeah. King and Clark. They sound like funeral directors, don't they? Which reminds me, our network's taking our telecast. And we come back and we've still got this Melbourne Storm player, Richard Fayoso, down. The Jordan frame is there, and they're going through all of the precautionary ways of handling this very tenderly and very cautiously. And Andrew, what about the other injuries that we have to worry about as well? Matt King and Clark, Jason Clark.
Yeah, we see Matt King in the sheds there. He's got ice on the forearm, looking quite distressed. He's going to get taken to hospital for X-rays on that forearm. They think there might be a break in it. Jason Clark, he hurt his ankle just before half time. He's back on the bench. He's a chance of coming back out. So that's some good news for the Bunnies. But I'll check on Fayoso. I'm pretty sure he'll be gone for the night.
There's no second gear with Richie Fayoso. He is 100 miles an hour with everything he does on a rugby league field. And that afternoon you were talking about at Brookvale, I think Newcastle struggled with a heap of injuries that particular afternoon. He was just one of them.
Yeah.
And he's off to Manly next season, Richie, and just a short stint for him at Melbourne to finish the season.
I see they've got the neck brace on him, but
yeah, Richie's raving his arms around. I mean, he's, for those his family and friends and that, I think he's okay. He's waving his arms around, and it's only precautionary that they've done this.
So the line finder
All the way back, Storm, all the way!
penalty went to South after all of that, you might remember. And the tap has gone away to Sutton, and Taylor comes off the deep, and he makes it over the halfway. 19 minutes of this game to go. 19 minutes before we go to Townsville to watch the Cowboys, who've been in great form. They were most impressive last Sunday up against Brisbane, who've been just wobbling a little bit. Here's Taylor sweeping it back after intending, or seemingly intending, to give it to a first man. He went back second man for Burgess. Luke darts out, and Isaac close to the line. When I say close to the line, he's about 11 metres out. And here goes John Sutton, getting it onto Reynolds. Reynolds, he stopped before he had an obstruction, and then it's gone away to Farrell, and Farrell is close to the line. Played, and it's played quickly back to Pettybourne, and it's come off the boot of Reynolds. Are they a chance here? No, O'Neill was an hour before them and a mile above them. And now Wonga. They just seem to be cool and calm in everything they do.
They don't sweat. They don't stress. It's like a training ground. I've never seen a team that just goes about its business so calmly as what the Melbourne Storm do. And that can only be because they rehearse it over and over and over again, so that it just becomes second nature. They can do this in their sleep. They can do this with their pajamas on.
It's like watching Bjorn Borg play tennis, isn't it?
Well, it's unemotional.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That was my feeling about the great Bjorn Borg. I used to watch it and I thought, what am I doing? This is not exciting me, because it was all baseline stuff and you make the mistake, and all that sort of stuff. And here is McQueen.
You didn't get excited watching Bjorn Borg?
Not really, no. No, I'd prefer to watch the net rushes and the volleys. Here is Everingham. No, you remember my tennis career. From down to Calcutta.
Let's not go there, Tony Roach.
If he tells that story here and now, I'm going home.
Here's Asatasi. Is that a promise? Luke away, and then Sutton outside, inside. Here's Inglis down to the 20-metre line, floats the ball away to Nathan Merritt, puts a grubber kick into the in goal, cleaned up by Melbourne. That'll be a forced ball, I think. Forced by Cronk, but they're going to have a look at it.
Yeah, no, he's forced it, no doubt. Number 7
Against
flying
Melbourne.
across for
Well, we'll check the grounding here first,
Melbourne
Smithy,
Storm.
and we'll be coming back for a penalty.
And one of the rare line breaks made by South Sydney, and ironically, it's a Melbourne play. The outside in ball. Greg Inglis coming through, a la Billy Slater.
They're also looking here at a penalty. The fact that Slater, I think, takes Merritt after he kicks, and now Slater will bump Merritt. It doesn't give him any chance to chase after the ball. I don't think we're looking at penalty try. I think Cronk has forced that ball okay, so this will be a penalty to South Sydney rather than the line dropout.
Well, he's already made that decision. There's no penalty try, even though this knock from Slater would have slowed Merritt up a little bit in his pursuit of the ball with Cronk. And Cronk, he forces it.
Yeah.
And there'll be a penalty for an unnecessary impeding of Merritt by Slater.
Well, all the South Sydney players are back waiting for the dropout. They'll need to come up now because the penalty's coming their way. Asatasi's 50 metres away from the tap position.
So no sin bin for Billy Slater. That's okay, is it?
Professional foul.
Well, I think it's a sin bin offence, isn't it?
No, it's a professional foul. You're right. It's a fair question. Burgess.
Whoops.
Now there's a problem.
Michael, you've got the penalty. You've got the penalty.
And Vave
Right.
lifting to a dangerous position.
And Kevin.
There was no real need for that.
Yeah, on
that
report.
just came from nowhere.
On report.
He's not ready, mate. He's not ready. Another step
Cronk
right.
is on report.
He's ready.
Did you think Vave was in it
I
too?
thought Vave was. Restart from South Sydney. Asatasi going towards the posts. We'll have another look at that in a little while.
So Luke, now for Reynolds, and then out the back for Dylan Farrell. Farrell into touch. Again, the defence is from Slater. He's not just a pretty face.
Well, it's too good. I mean, it really is too good. And this goes back a few years. Here's the lifting. There's nothing doing here. There's no reason to do that. That's just silly.
Yeah, Vave was there, no doubt about that. And this is, well, they take great pride in their defence, Melbourne. They've scored 24, but as I said earlier, they'll get more satisfaction out of keeping South Sydney scoreless tonight if they can possibly do so. And the great fullbacks in our game, they are as good defensively as they are when they've got the football in hand.
Right next to it.
What's the update on Richard Fayoso, Andrew?
Yeah, he's good news. He's back on the bench. Actually, Rabs, he sprinted out of the tunnels on his toes, ready to rock and roll. But he won't be back tonight. You see he's on the bench. He's got a little feeling back in his body, so it's good news to family and friends watching at home.
One of our men in tapes might have a look at that dangerous lift there on that occasion just a couple of seconds ago. Was it Varve or was it Norrie?
It was Varve. Norrie was at the front of the tackle. Varve and Proctor, I'm sure, both had their arms between the legs as Cronk.
So Cronk from inside the 40 drives it down inside the 10, and Inglis is back there. Here he comes out of the corner. There's the purple ring. And Inglis not going anywhere.
And they've kicked mainly down to that right-hand corner down there. Inglis is left. He's far better coming out of the other corner than he is out of this corner down here, and they've worked that out. Inglis has been very uncomfortable running the ball back tonight from that corner down there.
So tomorrow from Canberra, the footy show, Peter, will come out of the stadium down there from 11. And then we'll go through to 1 o'clock with that before we start the football. As Sutton makes a half break, gets the ball back. Peets is back there, and it's a penalty against Melbourne. Player held not in possession. In other words, I think he's saying Peets was tackled without the ball by Proctor. So then footy show 2 hours, 11 to 1 coming out of the stadium, and then 3:30 the telecast. And Mal Meninga will join us from Canberra tomorrow. Here's Sutton popping the ball up for Burgess. The tackle gets the ball free, and Slater runs round the corner, gives it to Wonga. Wonga tackled on the 20-metre line, own end of the ground. Now we're down to 13 minutes to go. This is O'Neill.
Yeah, well, if it was a boxing match, they would have stopped the fight long ago. It's actually been fairly painful to watch, unfortunately, for South Sydney fans. There's not much you can say about this today.
Fanua, now Smith.
Well, they've been outclassed, and as Melbourne keep it alive now from a Smith break, and Widdop shows his footwork once again. I'm a fan of Nathan Peets, but I think South Sydney next game, they need to look at Isaac Luke as an 80-minute player. I think you need his constant menace out of dummy half with what he offers against a retreating defence.
Norrie plays the ball, and this is Varve. And Varve going straight up the middle. He'll play it 25 metres away from the South Sydney line. Michael Maguire would be a very dejected coach, which would be an understatement, I guess. But they would have come here with high hopes. They've got a wonderful roster, and he basically knew what he was walking into. He had 6 years here himself, and Inglis and Crocker and King, they all had experience here. Penalty goes south.
But it was high.
It's a learning curve, and as I said earlier, this can happen to a team when they come to the finals for the first time for a while. They can just get here and be shell-shocked and not perform. Now, they get to play the winner of tomorrow's game, Sharks and the Raiders. So, you know, they've just got to regroup, come back next week, and they'll have an extra day's preparation over tomorrow's winner. They've got to make their next finals appearance a lot better. It's a learning curve. Happens to everyone.
David Middleton has the habit of rubbing salt into injury. He tells me that Souths haven't been held scoreless in a finals match since 1924. Thanks, Dave. Here is Sutton. I appreciate the research, but I don't know that the Redfern people need to know that right now. Here's Luke going away! And the scoreless almost became irrelevant. There's a gap there, and he's through it. Reynolds goes in to score. I'm almost pushing him through the gap. I got him through it, good boy.
Well, it hasn't been awarded as yet.
Turn it up, it's got to be awarded.
We'll just have a look at what the referee is concerned about. Play to the right, Dave Taylor goes through, makes contact with Hoffman, puts him on his backside, it's no try.
Rabbits.
And Middleton's giving me high fives. He's saying, I broke the deadlock, I broke the scoreless monotony. Well, he hasn't, no try. You've got to be a narc. You've got to be a narc to take that off him. They've copped a hiding.
Well, it's not a charity, Rabbits. We just can't give them away.
I understand that, but
What do you say? Look at the rule book.
Yeah, don't you start. I'm looking at these people over here, the green and gold, the red and green people who've paid their fares. One poor old bugger, he's 78. He hasn't missed a final, hasn't missed a South Sydney game in 18 years, in 60 years. And he's had to put up with you on the plane all the way down.
He sat with me on the plane.
Exactly.
Down,
and he's paid top freight because you fly business, so it's cost him $800 return.
So,
and he's put up with you.
For a moment there, you had him not missing a final in 18 years. He's missed 2 games then.
You knew what I meant. My maths has always been bad, but how unlucky's the old bloke, 78. He's travelled to Melbourne to watch the mighty Rabbits, the pride of the league, and he gets Gus sitting next to him. Wonga.
Nathan Merritt came in on Billy Slater. Merritt, he's nursing the right shoulder. Slater's back up on his feet. It was heavy contact in behind the pass.
Cost Jason. Watch this. Ooh. A flying Slater. He's got something out of World Championship Wrestling, but it's been scooped up back there by Inglis. Greg playing it back on his own line. Farrell tries to run away from Wiggop. He does that.
I should have pointed out when Matt King left the field, Chris McQueen moved into the left centre position. Actually a bit of a lookalike when it comes to Matt King, but the tall fellow's out on the left-hand side, Taylor now. Leaders and an offload.
Cowboys versus Broncos.
Crocker's away.
Crocker down the middle, looks around, finds support. Here's Isaac. And Luke is pulled out from behind by Wonga. And here is the ball coming from Peach. It's gone to Sutton. Sutton looking for support. There's Crocker. Now there's Inglis. Can they stop them? Reynolds gets it away. Now it's Pettybourne. Pettybourne, stop barracking. He's over the line. Has he got the ball down? I think Shane Hayne might be going to point, is he? No, he's not. He's going to go upstairs.
Well, they should have scored.
Robbo, you okay back there?
They should have scored. They had numbers to the left. John Sutton only had to pass it. Pettybourne, if he had a chance, should have passed it.
He just gave it.
Oh, he's given it.
He just gave it. What's going on?
He gave the try. He gave the try, and they bombed it 3 times.
Well, Sterlo hadn't finished talking about it. What right's he got to do that while Sterlo's still analysing the damn thing?
He blew time off. I thought I had time.
Of course you had time. You can't do that, Shane. Anyway, there goes that stat as Middos.
Who gave him the nod? Good work here from Reynolds. Crocker gets away, and Luke supports back on the inside. And then from this play, the ball, they had a 2-man overlap to the left outside of John Sutton. If he throws the wide pass to McQueen, he was the widest player on the outside. Inglis hurdles, Reynolds, Pettybourne. He's got support on his outside. Don't worry about it. Kick's good.
Reynolds converts. So forget that stat I gave you. Forget that stat that goes back to 1924 when our old mate was born.
Right, when the referee called timeout, he was in the best position to have a look at it. He was standing there. He waited, he waited, he waited. He called time. What changed his mind?
What he was doing, he was waiting for the pocket referee to catch up to the play. Now, the referee was well behind, and he was trying to say, well, are you happy with it? Are you happy with it? Are you happy with it?
Yeah, but he put his arms up now.
Yeah, well, he put his arms up to wave off time because the pocket referee was running towards him. And then he finally got there and said, yeah, I'm happy with it. And he said, OK, well, it's a try.
That's it then.
All right, well, let's solve that. So here's John Sutton now, giving it back to Michael Crocker. That'll be an interesting replay when people back at Channel 9 get to hear it. Every commentator, everybody in the joint was barracking for a try. It was just an absolute gaggle. A gaggle of geese trying to get this bloke over the line. Oh, was he? You were. I could hear in the background. Here's Pete's.
That was Middleton.
Now, it's come from Sutton and gone to Pettybourne. He's gone back now for John Sutton again. He's put a backhander out to Merritt. He rolls it along the ground. Slater was there. And now the ball is inside the 10-metre line with Melbourne. McQueen did his damnedest to get his hands on that, but Hinchcliffe beat him to the punch. That's O'Neill.
Yeah, it's only 6-all the second half. And this is a little bit of what I spoke about before the game. Because the game's been at Melbourne's end of the field, Melbourne have only come up with the one try in this game. They're not any great shakes out of their own half of the field, let me tell you. And that's why they're beatable.
Hoffman.
South Sydney, you know, for everything they've done wrong, they've been very, very ordinary in attack. It's still 6-all in the second half, so there's something to take away from the mess, I guess.
Well, how do you keep them in their own half?
Well, the Warriors did it here last year.
Varve.
And just frustrated them out of it. You can't keep them in their own half when you give away 5 or 6 penalties, as South Sydney did in the first 50 minutes.
Cronk from outside the 40. And it crosses the touchline with Greg Inglis 10 metres out.
His kicking game to Inglis tonight has been exemplary. He's either got it out over the sideline or he's got Inglis down in this corner. 19-7-50 here in Melbourne to watch the local side advance through the finals to the second last round. But you know, there's been very little brilliance from the Melbourne Storm in the second half.
Stay down, boys. Bring it up, Melbourne.
Now, am I right in thinking that we'll be back here in 2 weeks' time?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The preliminary final will be here. And the Cowboys Broncos coming up live following this game, and of course the winner of that match will play Manly at the football stadium in Sydney next Friday. So it'll be Cowboys or Brisbane versus Manly at the football stadium next Friday night. And South will play the winner of Cronulla and Campbell.
Mick, you've got it. Back away. Back away. Boy, you've got the penalty, mate.
Been a lot of penalties in this game tonight. 16 in total now. The key ones were early on. That's 3 or 4 nil in favour of Melbourne. South Sydney now just outside the 30, looking for their second try of the evening.
There's Reynolds, and Peeps has been taken smothered with ball and all by Nielsen. Just outside the 30-metre line, South Sydney trying to take some respectability out of the game. Played by Crocker. Now to Sutton. Sutton back on the inside for Peeps. Middle of the ground. And here goes Luke, who is an exciting little player, and he got a ball away before the arm hit the ground. Reynolds is with it. Can he do the same? Reynolds plays it. They go to the short side for Big Taylor, and it's gone back down for Farrell. And Dylan Farrell.
Held up.
Held up. Held up. Is
Tackle
Farrell.
6, boys. Oh, hand over back there.
I think Hoffman and Slater
Last tackle.
were 2 of the men who combined over there. Ball was batted back on the inside from Everingham to Farrell, and Billy Slater, initial contact, swings him around, and Ryan Hoffman comes in to lend a hand late. Great defence again on their line.
They won't give anything away, will they, Melbourne? 24-6. Still they're desperate to stop you from scoring any more points.
See, there's a train of thought too that South Sydney are something in the order of flat track bullies. I mean, they beat up on the weaker sides, but they haven't been able to beat a top 8 side for a long time. Long time. Their record against the better sides is poor. They really bash up on the other sides, and they're just too big and strong for them. But
Easy, boys. Easy. Easy, Adam.
There's players entangled in there.
Dave Taylor.
They unwind themselves and walk away. Well, why is that, Gus? Why is that? You couldn't have a much better roster than they've got. How many teams have got star players in numbers like South?
yeah, I know what you're saying, but it's a learning curve. It's a learning curve. It's just ironic that when they play the better teams, they can't seem to get their game on. Now, here we are in the last 10 minutes of the game. They're starting to put a few plays together, but for the first 70 minutes, they're not there. They're not there emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally.
Here's low.
Melbourne Storm, on the other hand, from the opening whistle, just jumped into their gear. They just hit the hobbles and got on with the job.
I guess the point I'm trying to make, though, if you look through the two rosters, just on paper, South Sydney have got a wonderful roster.
Yeah, they have.
Smith dancing away from Taylor, pushing the ball on out to Hoffman, is it?
He's my man of the match, Hoffman. Even though the big three are instrumental, but he's been great today. Riddop escaping from Michael Crocker, and then he tries to cut through the 20-metre line. Half a minute to go, and the Melbourne crowd now starting to get the chant to go. As a little chip in from Crocker, fielded by Inglis. Inglis will get it back into the field of play, and Melbourne still, with only 16 seconds to go, they grit their teeth and they pull the superstar back into the in goal for a line dropout that won't have enough time to happen. Yeah, one last final statement from the home side. One last statement. Yeah, get back where you belong. And they push the great fullback back into his own in goal. It's over. Storm win.
Proctor even looked up, and if you could put a caption on the look of Proctor, it was a look up towards the coach's box. Are you happy with that bellyache? Right on full time. Are you happy with that, Craig? But there we are, letting the imagination run loose. Congratulations, Craig Bellamy from, is that David Kidwell? Is David tied up with the coaching here with Kevin Walters.